Hey, what up guys? Hope you're all having an amazing day. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my base that I've been using for all of Town Hall 9. It's basically the Crow's base, but I've made a few tweaks here and there based on defensive replays that I've watched over time, and I've more or less settled on this particular design. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of the pros and cons of the base, the trap placements, why certain buildings are where they are, and I'll have a separate video for the actual base build. So let's start by talking about the clan castle. Now the clan castle is pretty much in the middle of the base, which means that it's not easy for the attacker to lure out the CC troops. As you guys can see, the boundary goes up to the edge of the top defenses here, so the attacker has to get deep into the base for the lure. And I've seen so many attacks fail just because people forget that there might actually be troops in the clan castle. Next up, we have the Dark Elixir storage, which is again in the middle of the base. The point where the Dark Elixir storage and the clan castle meet, that's actually the central point. Anyway, as you guys know, Dark Elixir is the hardest thing to find at any town hall level, so you want your base to do a good job at protecting how much ever you have. So I'll bring up the defense log here just to show you guys how well this base has been protecting my Dark Elixir. We've been getting attacked by all kinds of different strategies, from Queen Walks to Jai Wiz to LavaLoon to Go Wipe, and there's been very few times that I've actually lost more than 1000 Dark Elixir, and that's ultimately what defense is all about. Of course it's great when you actually win defenses, but if the attacker comes out with little to no Dark Elixir, then you take that as a win. Now the last point I want to make about the core is regarding the traps. So let's start off with the giant bombs on the top here next to the clan castle. They were actually spread wider in the original base design, like the ones on either side of the town hall, but I moved them closer because I noticed that in a lot of replays, when the attacker would start their raid from the top, the troop pathing ends up at the corner here next to the clan castle, and having the giant bombs closer together makes them trigger earlier, which allows the defenses in the core to finish off the troops more quickly, again helping us to protect that Dark Elixir, which is what it's all about. Now the small bombs are placed in this triangular shape, and their main function is to stop attackers from using wall breakers to open up the core. So we have 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. More often than not, you'll only see the wall breakers being used to open up the outer walls, and so these bombs along with the giant bombs help to finish off any trailing wizards that might make it through, or troops that come from the attacker using the king or the queen ability. Now we also have the seeking air mines forming this square on the outskirts of the core. You want these to be triggered by the lava hounds as they fly across the base. So we put them right in the middle of 2 air defenses because the hounds will path right over them. So now I want to talk a bit about what's outside the core, mainly these gold and elixir storages. They serve 2 different purposes. The first is to create a ring of non-defensive buildings around the core, so they separate the defenses on the outside from the ones inside the core. This is super important, and I'll explain why in my next point. Now their second function is to act as big HP buildings, so if someone does manage to funnel properly, the backup troops, usually wizards or archers, they're going to get held up targeting these storages, while the defenses in the core, these expos and the Teslas, can focus on the rest of the troops. Of course we have the heroes here as well, which do plenty of work and buy the core defenses even more time to kill the enemy troops. Now let's get back to those gold and elixir storages and discuss in more detail why they're super important. So I want you to imagine some giants break into the base and start targeting this air defense. They will then move on to the next closest defense, which is probably the air sweeper or the archer tower, and after that they'll move to the mortar or the cannon depending on which way they want to go. And herein lies the beauty of the base. Whatever the troop is, if it targets defenses only, so giants or hogs or loons, it's going to get sucked into going all the way around the base, defense to defense, and so we have these spring traps placed purposely just for this reason. Having the ring of storages between the core and this defensive ring means that the next closest defense is never the defenses that are in the core, unless of course the attacker does an amazing job at creating the funnel, but that's not as easy as it looks on this base. So last few points I want to make about the defensive ring. You always want to keep the defenses at least 4 tiles from the outside walls. This is strictly so that the enemy queen has to get into the base to take them out. Of course, you want to spread your defense as well, so you have a mix of air and ground targeting defenses that are next to each other. And if you're brand new to Town Hall 9, or haven't put down your expos yet, you can still use this base design. Just swap out the expos for the archer towers and then adjust your other defenses to make sure there's no spawn spots inside of the base. Finally, the last thing I want to mention for the pros is that if you're into collecting special obstacles like these fireworks or the Christmas tree or whatever it is, this base works really well in making those spawn outside the base. There are some 2x2 spots inside the base, but I haven't had anything spawning inside since I started using the base. Now, moving on to the cons. It's hard to find any cons in the actual base design itself. The base is rock solid when it comes to protecting Dark Elixir, but of course you guys know with the game the way it is right now, offense is overpowered relative to defense, and good attackers will always find a way to get to the Dark Elixir no matter what base you're running. You also have Town Hall 10s that can come down and 3-star you whenever they feel like, no matter the base design. But with all that being said, this base works more often than not, and all the pros I mentioned far outweigh the cons in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed my explanation of this base. Feel free to leave any questions you might have about the base design in the comments below. Remember to check out the base build if you guys want to try this base for yourself. And if you do end up trying the base, let me know how it works out for you. Hopefully you guys have the same kind of success I've been having. And as always, if this video helped you out, make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.